Okay, so I'm going to guide you through how to fill out this 2-year curriculum. Right now, I've got the Canvas page pulled up, and you're just going to go to the weekly module and click on the 2-year curriculum. So you click on that, and then you'll see the assignment page pull up. The assignment starts off with a description of the 2-year curriculum, and you can see that I've got this Word document template embedded right here. And so this is going to be the template that you're going to use to fill out your 2-year curriculum. Let me know if for some reason you do not have Word on your computer. So I've just clicked on it and I see it's come up, it's right down here under my download. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to open up Microsoft Word, and there you'll find the template. Okay, and I'm actually going to enable editing. All right, that way, once you kind of get started, you can save this onto your computer as you're editing. So it starts off here actually with just um, a bunch of different things, elements of art, principles of art, different media and techniques, our history timeline, and then it has just your kind of basic high school art state standards. And these actually are Arkansas state standards, but they're kind of pulled from generic list. And so this is actually just to help you as you're in your brainstorming mode. And so you start off the first couple pages with just some information there. But really what you're going to be filling out is this next portion, which is these major projects at a glance. So semester 1, semester 2 for art 1, and then semester 1 and semester 2 for art 2. Each of these semesters consisting of 18 weeks. And after you get all of that filled out, you will fill out week by week, semester 1, month 1, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And so this is what's going to take a good bit of time. Let me go back to the assignment because I do actually walk through a step-by-step approach to this. So step 1, as I mentioned, is when you're going to brainstorm topics. This is where you maybe just get out a scratch, piece of paper, and you just write out a list of different media, different projects just off the top of your head, what you would like to explore. You can refer to the media that I have up here, elements of art. You can use this as a launching point. In fact, I include a PDF of those media, and if you click on that, this is a scaffolded high school curriculum and just different techniques that you can kind of look over. You might even have certain project ideas already in mind. And so just start off by writing and brainstorming all the different media or projects. And then after you're done writing a list of possibilities, next develop a scope and sequence. So think about what your projects and think about what skills are needed, and then um, kind of sequence those activities based on the concepts that are being explored and what needs to and prerequisite kind of knowledge. And so this is in the scope and sequence section. This is when you're going to be thinking in big picture units. Okay, you're not thinking in as far as individual lessons, but big picture units, which projects need to come before others. And so this is that would lead you right into step 3, which is filling out those major projects at a glance. And that's what I had mentioned as far as filling this in. So this is actually step 3, where you fill in after you've kind of developed your list, and you kind of use spreadsheet of paper to kind of figure out the order in which those projects go. Once you get to that point, then you actually can start typing into this document and kind of developing your list of projects. So, exercises, and then still life compositions, and you can make your way, and then maybe, no, I need to have shading exercises, and so maybe have some exercises, some major projects, major drawing project 1. And so you can see how I'm sequencing these activities. And so you fill out what you are projecting forward for these 18 weeks for this semester, and then you think into second semester and what that might look like. So color mixing, well, before we do color mixing, we've got to do color theory. And then maybe we get into painting exercises and small painting project one, major painting. So you can see how I'm just kind of trying to sequence these activities. And right now you can kind of um, these can be a little bit vague as you're kind of unpacking them, but eventually what we want to do after we kind of fill out these projects is we want to get to where we can start filling out the week by week. Now remember your semester is going to start off probably where you'll talk about the syllabus and establish classroom management. And so it's really not until week 2 that you'll really be able to start getting into some major projects and things like that. But maybe reserve the first week for establishing routines and maybe doing some exercises and um, getting engaged with the materials. But really by week 2, then you can start thinking about plugging in these projects up here from semester 1 and thinking, okay, how many weeks is that going to take up? And really this is going to take up the majority of your time as you're plugging away all of this. And I would say before you even get to the detailed portions of filling in week by week and day by day, you may want to kind of say, okay, first week, you may want to kind of figure out week by week up here or on a separate sheet of paper. That way you're not having to make so many edits on the computer. Again, I would recommend trying to write as much on kind of a scratch sheet of paper. That way you can kind of be more flexible, moving things around. And then when you've made some final decisions, that's when you plug everything into this Word document. And so this Word document is what you're going to turn in. Now, if you see on the side here, I've got content, number, art history, elements, and principles. This is for you to make a note of as you're going through. You don't have to actually fill this out on the first turn in, but by the end of the semester, I would like you to kind of be thinking in terms of what maybe art historical connections you might be able to plug in. So I've got a basic timeline here. So if you think certain content of Impressionism relates to a certain project, maybe you can write Impressionism, in this category, in this blank here. Or if there's a certain artist name, or um, typing in any of the elements and principles of art. And so if there's certain elements that are emphasized in that project, be typing those in, and principles of art. This is all a part of what you would be expected of to do when writing out your lesson plans for a school is thinking about those big ideas and also putting in the state standards. So that's what I had content number. So if say there one project is going to be emphasizing critiquing and analyzing art, you would look at this number 4, and you don't have to write down this entire standard, but maybe just put the number 4 right there, in that blank. That way you are reminding yourself that that's the state standard that you're going to be covering. All right. I would recommend actually doing this as you're filling it out and after you've kind of got this plugged in, because that's where your headspace already is, and it might be easier for you to plug that in as opposed to coming back a few weeks later and having to review all of this again and then bring in all of this kind of information. But it's up to you. I know this is kind of a big task, just filling all of this out. Again, it'll make it easier if you can just, first of all, just brainstorm, come up with a list of possible options, and then kind of start sequencing them together. And then once you do that, you start plugging it in. And when you're plugging it in, let's say you have a whole week where you're doing a 1 week still life drawing assignment. So what you could do is you kind of let's just say, let me just find a week here. Let's just say this is all your still life drawing. I'm just copying and pasting this. And then when it comes to, let's say the first day, this is the day where you'll select your thumbnail, your objects. So you might want to just put in parentheses, like that's the activity that you're doing that day. And then as you move on to the second day, maybe you are doing thumbnail sketches. And so you're going to continue those thumbnail sketches and you can begin to draw. And maybe this is a day where you're not really sure, maybe some students will be still doing the outline drawing, some will be moving on to shading, so you're just going to continuing. And then by this point, hopefully everything is shading. And maybe you can, put last day. But with all of this, I would encourage you to give some flexibility. So maybe not begin, maybe have some flexibility if on when you're finishing up one project before you jump into another. Maybe have some flexibility on that first day there before you jump and plunge right into important material. Because students, if they miss 2 days that week, then how do they make up that material? And so it's always nice to kind of put either in an extra day here and there or a whole week where you've got an optional project. Like if you get to that project, that's great, but have some flexibility built into your curriculum to where if for whatever reason you get a week behind, it's not like this house of cards and everything just falls apart. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're filling this out. Let me know if you have any questions about this template and how you're filling out this template. But again, my biggest recommendation would be to work it out as much as you can on paper and kind of these major projects at a glance. And then once you kind of establish the weeks and the rhythms and how long things are going to take, then start filling in the details after at that point. I would not recommend starting off here and trying to make your way because then you might end up just doing lots of deleting and it might just end up taking a lot of time. So start off big picture and then work your way into the finer details.